looking forward, how important are employee engagement and behavior change in achieving energy efficiency goals? And what are some effective strategies for getting employees on board? You know.
Yeah, great question. So energy use in any aspect of life, or like we're focusing commercial and industrial, in any business, energy use is determined by decisions that people make. Yeah. So when you build a building, you're making decisions about the building.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or the people who design the building making certain decisions about it that will impact on this energy use. Um, Once you have a facility, you make decisions about how you're going to maintain it. Um, and so there's some major decisions like buying a building or building a new building. Then there's some minor decisions about, like, do I turn my computer off when I go home from work or not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so um, there's lots of decisions. So employee engagement and behaviour change, yeah, do play a pretty important role. Um, I think that sometimes what's misunderstood though is that some people's decisions are more important than others. So, for example, um, the facility manager of a building, um, of say a commercial building, that person's decisions are much more important than say the decisions of staff who are just coming in and basically. So that person who's the facility manager has control over the heating and conditioning, and ventilation, air conditioning, which is often for most buildings is a single major source of energy usage. Whereas, you just come into your desk at work, well, you control your work environment, but it's limited.
Yeah.
So we need to focus on those people who have major decisions and engaging with them. Um, and effective employee engagement, but it results in people being conscious of the energy and carbon impact of their actions. So there's a lot of research on this kind of behaviour change, how to engage with people. Um, much of the research kind of focuses on having prompts or reminders about the effective use of energy at the decision point. So, for example, if you have a manufacturing facility and there's a control process, but the operators can see the energy impact of the decisions on a dashboard, that will, if they're trained in how to use that and they have the management expectation that they will use that, that will help them change their behavior to save energy. I want to give you a good example of this personally. So I own a Prius. A Prius is a hybrid car, which has a petrol engine and it's got a battery. And it's got a very interesting display on the dashboard, which tells me my fuel economy instantaneously. It also has like a graph, which goes into the red zone if I accelerate too quickly or I put my foot down too hard, my accelerator down too hard. And so that provides me a lot of feedback, immediate feedback when I'm making decisions about how I drive. Then I have my kids saying, "You went into the red zone, Daddy." so okay. So they're encouraging me to drive
Mm-hmm.
efficiently as well. So that's an example of where I'm getting an immediate feedback to have behaviour. So by mentioning my kids there, that perhaps also comes back to the management expectation that, hey, you're expected to behave in a way, and management's asking questions about, are you using energy efficiently? Um, Another really important way of locking in this, as I said, it's almost like behaviour change, but it's not really, as I mentioned, the purchasing policy. So if you have a purchasing policy that says no matter what we buy as an organisation, we have to take into account its lifetime cost, including its energy cost, straight away you've got a pretty powerful lever for behaviour change around purchasing. Then we have stuff like gamification. Um, so we're seeing some really interesting action in this space in the US and now in Australia with some utilities around gamification of energy usage at times of peak demand. You know how sometimes there's load shedding when power goes out? Yeah.
Yeah.
Often that's caused because there's too much demand for energy, not enough supply. So some of the energy retailers now have gamification around that, yeah, which you get points, or maybe they'll even give you some money if you can
Yeah.
switch off at certain times. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
that's kind of an interesting gamification, which perhaps is a little bit hard to introduce at the level of organisation, but it is out there and maybe a strategy. I've worked with on a behavior change program with various businesses, um, and it was really interesting. We worked in a business where there was no capital investment; it was all about behavior change. We had a 5-week program where each week we kind of had a webinar where we talked with people. This is well before pre-COVID. This is 12, 15 years ago now. So we had a behavior change program where we worked with these businesses. Every week we had a webinar with all the business. I think there were 5 or 6 businesses involved. And basically, what we got them doing at the start was we had this kind of concept called Ready, Set, Go, So. So the Ready phase was, you know, you know, identifying where the electricity meters were and stuff like that. Set was they read their meter uh, for a week and set so how much energy they used in a week. Uh, Go was where they started to implement actions under our guidance to reduce their energy use through behaviour change. So turning the lights off, turning computers off in an office setting, stuff like that. Um, Ready, set, go, so, and then so was at the end, going back and looking at their energy use over the week, or the weeks they took actions, comparing it. And interestingly, some of these businesses were saving 20%. I forget what the average was. It might have been 15, 13% average across these businesses, which is a big saving
That's true. Yeah.
just through behavior change. But then they had signage, they engaged with people, they talked with people. So it's a lot of the behavior change studies, however, show that it needs to kind of be ongoing, which then comes back to the role of go back top management. Someone has a KPI, and it's something that you always do. You just make it part of business as usual. Is having prompts, having reminders, ensuring that people are making the right decisions.
Wow. Those are some great tips. So,
Yeah. So that ready set go so almost sounds like a game also, doesn't it? Yeah. The ready
yeah.
set go so. And then it was a bit of a competition who could save the most amongst the different businesses that participated. So yeah. So that's another example of gamification, which I didn't kind of link directly to that. So that's a way businesses themselves can gamify. So if you had, for example, um, different divisions of your business, you could have a behavior change competition amongst them. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more valuable insights on energy efficiency. Bye.